Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Ehsan, and in today's video we're going to solve an IELTS reading test from Cambridge Books IELTS 8. And in this video it's better to have your pencil and take notes while watching this video and turn off any distractors. And I'm gonna give you some tips and strategies how to handle this type of test. And it's better to smile before we get started and make yourself relax and have a positive thinking about this part of the IELTS exam. If you're new here, please give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and also the notification bell so whenever I upload a new video, you'll be aware of it. Let's jump into it. I'm using this website practice.startcamp.com, and I'm going to give you link in the description. This is useful for IELTS computer-based IELTS exam. So we have here on the left hand side we have the passage, and on the right hand side we have the questions. Okay, I'm going to give you a whole strategy about this reading test. Telepathy. It's about telepathy, and it's a highlighter that I use to highlight some key vocabularies. First, I'm going to read the title, telepathy. So imagine this is just about telepathy. Okay, then I'm going to the question and find the keywords and what are the questions, how to handle these type of questions. You have to know this when you want to be completely prepared for your exam. This complete sentence questions is one of the most complicated questions actually, because you have to complete this type of questions and the questions and answers are not usually in order. So this is something difficult to answer it at first. And how about this one? This one is a sentence completion in the table, and this one is actually one of the easiest one to answer. And if you look at it closely, you can see here 1982 and 1987. So these numbers are really easy to find. For example, with a just quick glimpse on this reading, we are going to find 1982 and here 1987. You see, and use the highlighter, and or if you're taking a paper-based IELTS exam, just circle a word or highlight it. This is important to detect the keywords in the IELTS exam. So let's start from the beginning. Just find the keywords in the questions, and then I'm going to the passage and read it all to find the answers. Researchers with different attitudes towards telepathy agree on what? So here different attitudes it's important vocabulary, and agree on something. Agree on what? Maybe for agree on they use another words, for example, conquer on something. Reports of experiences during meditation indicated. I usually find two different vocabularies. One of them is to detect where the answer is. Probably you're going to find an exact sentence about this sentence in the passage. For example, different attitudes is first clue word to find where the answer is, and agree on is something that you're going to actually find the answer for this sentence. Attitude to parapsychology would alter drastically with what? Recent Otto Gansfield trials suggest that success rates will improve with what? Recent is important, okay? Recent and improve with what? For recent, for something like recent or solution or prediction, you are probably an educated guess in the IELTS exam is it to find it in the last paragraph. These are the important tips when you're going to take the IELTS exam. Okay? Now, I detect the keywords in the questions. I'm not looking for keywords in the answers. Okay? Here. This one. In this type of questions, actually the questions and answers are in the same order. So whenever I find the answer for 31, probably I will going to find it in 32 question after that. Involved a person acting as a what? Acting as what? Who picked out one from a random selection of four and a what who then tried to identify it. Okay? And be careful, this is actually date, this is description, this is result, and this is flaw. So for this one you have to look for the flaw. Positive results could be produced by factors such as what or is important here. Where means that you need a plural noun here. This is where the grammar is going to help you to find the answer. Used for key tasks to limit the amount of what in carrying out the tests. Carrying out the test means doing the test. The results were then subjected to what? This is about the result here. The blank between different test results was put down to the fact that sample groups were not what? Okay, these are the keywords in the question. Now come back to the passage. Can human beings communicate by thought alone? For more than a century, the issue of telepathy. You see, I'm reading it so slowly. In the IELTS exam condition, you have to just move your eyes so quickly. Because for the sake of this video, I'm trying to read it. But you have to just move your eye so quickly to just detect the keywords. Let me just do this. Has divided the scientific community, and even today it sparks bitter controversy among top academies. Since the 1970s, at leading universities and research institutes around the world have reached the region of skeptical colleagues by putting the various claims for telepathy to the test in dozens of rigorous scientific studies. The results and their implications are dividing even the researchers who uncovered them. Nothing about different attitudes or nothing about these years. I already detect the years actually, so nothing in here. Some researchers say the results constitute compelling evidence that telepathy is genuine. Our parapsychologists believe the field is on the brink of collapse, having tried to produce definite scientific proof and failed. Skeptics and advocates. Skeptics are people who doubtful, and advocates people who are strongly believe on something. So skeptics and advocates could be the keywords for different attitudes. Try to notice that. Alike, do concur on. Concur on means agree on. Agree on one issue. What is the issue? This is the answer for question 27. However, that the most impressive evidence so far has come from the so-called Gansfield experiments. So, now, the discovery of a mechanism for telepathy, the need to create a suitable environment for telepathy, their claims of a high success rate, a solution of the problem, the significance. Significance means impressive evidence of the Gansfield experiments. This is the answer. For E is the answer for this one. And you write down on your answer sheet E for this question, question 27. Okay? Now, probably you will going to find the next question, meditation indicated. Try to focus on these keywords. A German term that means whole field reports of telepathic experiences had by people during meditation led parapsychologists to suspect that telepathy might involve signals passing between people that were so faint that they were usually swamped by normal brain activity. In this case, such signals might be more easily detected by those experiencing meditation like tranquility in a relaxing whole field of light, sound, and warmth. So, the need to create a suitable environment for telepathy. Suitable environment means relaxing whole field of light, sound, and warmth. So B is the answer for this question. Okay. Now be careful. This is the paragraph that you're going to see in 1982. So probably you will find the answer for these questions. The Gansfield experiment tries to recreate these conditions with participants sitting in soft reclining chairs in a sealed room, listening to relaxing sounds while their eyes are covered with special filters letting in only soft pink light. In early Gansfield experiments, the telepathy test involved an identification of a picture chosen from a random selection of four taken from a large image bank. The idea was that a person acting as a sender. Okay, sorry about this highlight. I don't know how to no highlight here. Okay, no problem with that. Acting as a sender. So here, acting as a sender, I have to write it down, sender. Okay, who picked out one would attempt to beam the image, who picked out one image over the receiver relaxing in the sealed room, over the receiver, who picked out one image from a random selection of four, and what who then tried to identify it. Once the session was over, this person was asked to identify which of the four images, here images, had been used. Random guessing would give a hit rate of 25%. Okay, then who is the person who will receive this image selection? Is actually a receiver, and a receiver, and be careful with the spelling. You can copy and paste it actually in the computer based exam. Okay, and for this question you can either write image or you can write a picture, because here it says that the telepathy test involved identification of a picture chosen from a random selection of four. So you can write one picture from a random selection of four. Okay, no problem with that. Image and picture both are correct for 32. Okay, now here is talk about flaw. There is nothing about the result. Here we have to find the answer for flaw. If you look at it carefully, you look at it actually not carefully, so quickly you can skip this one, and here you can see flaw. So your answer for the next question will probably be there. This is some skills that you have to be mastered to locate the answer just so quickly. But there was a crucial flaw in this argument, one routinely overlooked in more conventional areas of ethics. What I'm looking for, I'm looking for positive results in flaw. Just because chance had been ruled out as an explanation did not prove telepathy must exist. There were many other ways of getting positive results. So this is here my answer is. Could be produced by factors such as what or what. Okay. This ranged from sensory leakage, where clues about the pictures I accidentally reached the receiver, to outright fraud. You see, or they use two, sensory leakage or outright fraud. So here you're writing sensory leakage. You probably have this question on your mind. Why I'm actually, when I try to write it, here is the answer. Because I already take this test. If you take this test for the first time, you're not going to actually watch this answer for this question. I already take this exam before I'm creating this video for you guys. So because of that, you can see my answers. Okay, now uh, from there you will not probably find the answer for 1987. 1987 is related to the next paragraph. Okay, so just move your eyes so quickly, there is nothing there, you can skip it. And here we're looking for very use for key tasks, some plural noun there. Okay, focus on this question. After this, many researchers switched to autogams field test, an automated variant of the technique which used computers to perform many of the key tasks. Used computers. So here is computers is the answer. One point that I forget to mention here, it says no more than 3 words. Be careful about that. Always write the heading of the question, because as you see here I used 2 words for this answer. No more than 3 words, which means 1 word, 2 word, or 3 words. So be careful about that. Here, next question. To limit the amount of what? To perform many of the key tasks such as the random selection of images by minimizing human involvement. So limit the amount of human involvement in carrying out the tests. The idea was to minimize the risk of flawed results. So the next question, result. The results were then subjected to a what? Results from In 1987, results from hundreds of autogam field tests were studied by Horton in a meta-analysis, a statistical technique for finding the overall results from a set of studies. Meta-analysis, and don't forget to write down the hyphen actually. So, question 39. The what between different test results was put down. Okay. Next paragraph. Yet some parapsychologists remain disturbed by the lack of consistency, consistency between individual Gansfield studies. You see here, by the lack of consistency between. So here, the lack of consistency between individual Gansfield studies means different test results. So was put down to the fact that sample groups were not. Defenders of telepathy point out that demanding impressive evidence from every study ignores one basic statistical fact. It takes large samples to detect small effects. If, as current results suggest, telepathy produces hit rates only marginally above the 20% expected by chance, it's unlikely to be detected by a typical Gansfield study involving around 40 people. The group is just not big enough. The group is just not big enough. We're not big enough, as with most Gansfield studies. Only when many studies are combined in a meta-analysis will the faint signal of telepathy really become apparent, and that is what researchers do seem to be finding. So now we've finished 31 to 40, and we have left with 21, 29 and 30. So what they are certainly not finding, however, is any change in attitude. Attitude to parapsychology would alter drastically with change attitude. It's completely actually correspond to each other, and I create a keyword table for IELTS exam. You can check out these vocabularies. This is really important to your eyes had to actually get used to this kind of thing. Attitude would alter drastically with change in attitude. These are completely correspond. Okay, so here is you're going to find the answer for this question. Attitude of mainstream scientists. Most still totally reject the very idea of telepathy. The problem stems, at least in part, from the lack of any plausible mechanism for telepathy. So, look for the answers. We already chosen B and E. Let me highlight this to not look for it again. The discovery of a mechanism for telepathy. The lack of any plausible mechanism for, yes, actually this is the answer. It needs to change because there is a lack of mechanism for telepathy, so it requires to discover a mechanism for telepathy. That's interesting. The first one is your answer for this question. Okay, now here comes the last paragraph, and our educated guess was about recent. For question 30 is something that you'll find it in last paragraph. Just move your eyes so quickly and find the vocabulary related to recent. Pause this video and find it in the last paragraph. This is a great practice, guys. Here, early results. So, suggests that success rates will improve with what? Show that creative and artistic people do much better than average. Actually, this is the answer for this question. Creative and, sorry, early results show that the creative and artistic people do much better than average. So, their claims of a high success rate, no. A solution to the problem posed by random guessing, no. A more careful selection of subjects. This is the answer. A more careful selection of subjects. Because here it says that creative and artistic people do much better than average. So F is the answer for this question. As you see, for the last question, actually I use the great technique. Just skip ahead and locate where the answer is. Then I read that part more carefully. By the time you repeat the IELTS practice test, you get the speed that you want. But this is something, the mixture of just skipping some paragraphs, some sentences, and to try to comprehend, trying to fasten up your comprehension. Because there is always a problem with time for different students. I'm one of the students that I always have problem with time for when it comes to IELTS reading test. I hope that this video was useful for you guys, and if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, and also all the links in the description below. And be careful to check out the keyword IELTS keyword table for this test and other test exams on the IELTS questions. If you like this kind of video, please let me know in the comment section. And if you have any questions, write down on the comment section. Thanks for watching.